everyone, thank you for watching this video. My name's Sebastian and with me I have Nicholas. So today we wanted to talk to you about conversions. More specifically, we wanted to talk to you about what a call to action should be on your site and why you need to be paying a little bit more attention than usually businesses invest their time in, to be honest, because let's just face it, at the end of the day, what we want, what we're trying to achieve from all this is to get more conversions. And the better we are at understanding why someone submits an inquiry on a website, or why someone picks up the phone and calls us, the better we're going to be, the better equipped we're going to be at and getting more conversions. So Nick and I have been spending a bit of time lately trying to improve businesses' conversion on their site. So, and this only started becoming more and more apparent to us the more time we spend trying to figure out why people do what they do, or why they don't do what they want to do. So, Nicholas,
yes,
maybe tell the audience what this video is about,
yeah,
what we've done, and what we're going to walk them through over the next 5 or 6 minutes with this video.
Yeah, sure. So we've done a bit of research into finding a few websites or web pages that we think are doing a good job in terms of converting people with their web forms, and a few web pages that are not doing a good job. So we're going to show you a few examples of each and talk you through what we think is a good way to bring someone down that buying cycle and you know, sort of carrying them through that cycle a bit better with a few more invested questions that you want to ask your customer basis on that web page that you have. So we'll start off by showing you what we found in terms of a bad web form, or something we think that has a lot of improving to do. So why don't you tell them sort of background story as to how you came across this?
Yeah, so basically my wife just got a nasty shopping dent on her car, her brand new car. She's got a BMW. And lo and behold, it happens. We were parked somewhere and we got back. This is a nasty, massive dent, and it is just disappointing, to say the least. So I jumped on the net last night and I had a look on Google for dent repair specialist mobile, specifically in Melbourne.
Yep.
And then I went through each of one of these guys and I started thinking, well, you know, half of them, and this should be a discussion for another day, half of them weren't very clear that they were mobile repair in the first place.
Yeah.
So some of them was questionable whether they actually did mobile at a panel shop or either of the two, to be honest. But so I found a few I found a few sites that I thought, oh, they seem pretty decent. So I clicked on it. I went and visited the website, and that's when it became a little concerning for me, because here's the thing, right? Typically, the more and more we use the internet today, the more we use the internet on our mobile phones.
Correct, yeah.
And we don't have an hour to spend. We're not like that as people. We don't say, okay, I'm going to dedicate an hour to find a dent repair specialist online.
Definitely not. You want to find the quickest solution. You
want to find the quickest solution, but you also want to do it whilst you're filling gaps.
That's right.
Like my wife and the kids were getting ready to get out, and I had about 15 minutes before the wife got out and said, hey, I'm ready. So I thought this might be a good opportunity for me to jump online.
Yep.
So I've got about 10 to 15 minutes. So what I want to do in those 10, 15 minutes, I don't want to be doing research and analysis and a breakdown of all these different things.
Yeah.
I don't want to learn the subject of dent repair. I just kind of want to jump in there, submit my inquiry, submit 4 or 5 inquiries, and move on to the next thing. So they can get back to me and say, Sebastian, I've read through your inquiry, I know your problem, I know what I've got to do, here's when I can do it, and this is how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
So basically,
what did you find?
I found, by coming onto this website, this is one of many.
Yeah.
So good website. It's got the damage there. It's got a before and after picture.
Right.
It kind of shows some level of skill there. They've got the telephone number. They've got the areas which they service.
Mm-hmm.
But then this is what worried me. The fact that I thought, okay, they want me to submit my inquiry, but they're asking me 3 or 4 questions: my name, my phone number, my email, and just kind of tell me about your dent.
Yes.
I guess that's what they're saying by filling your information.
Yes.
So here's the thing: I know nothing about dents, right? Nothing at all. So wouldn't it make more sense to me? Well, it makes more sense to me to actually ask him questions that would qualify, even prompt me to say, oh goodness, I didn't think of that.
Yes.
Like for instance, something along the lines of how big the dent is, whereabouts is the dent, is the paint chipped, is the paint still intact? All of these questions that would make me feel like, goodness, they understand the process really well, and they're going to give me a quote that is more specific. Is that even a good way of looking at it? Because the more questions you ask, the more qualifying answers you have, the better result you're going to give.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that's when you and I had this discussion.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, who are the industry leaders? Well, let's not even call them industry leaders, because I'm sure they make a lot of mistakes too. But who are what markets are the most complicated or the most competitive in the field today? And you said, car insurance.
Yep.
No doubt, car insurance. So what did we do? We jumped online. We done a search for car insurance.
Yeah.
And what did we find?
Well, we brought up the first one we brought up was iSelect. Let me see if I can find that here. iSelect Insurance, and it's taking you straight to their compare car insurance, and they've asked you 2 questions from the beginning, which is your postcode and your car registration. So if you pop the postcode in.
Yeah. So we're going to say 3754.
Yep.
Doreen or Mernda, doesn't matter.
And your car reg.
What's your car reg?
ZJI.
ZJI
101.
101.
Yep.
We hit enter. So that's your car reg.
That's my car reg.
So we don't know what's going to happen. It may or may not pick it up, but it actually has picked it up, which is incredible. Okay, so
without me even requesting a claim, they've already told me what my car is. So
it's pretty good.
This is good.
And this is iSelect. And iSelect, if you don't know how iSelect came about, they were basically a lead generator.
Yep.
And I think they still technically are a lead generator, so they know lead generation better than anybody out there. And what they're trying to do essentially is they're trying to get you to take the problem out of your head, put it into paper, give them as much details, and let us take care of the rest. Because once you come to this page, you submit these details, which, let's have a look. They're probably about, I don't know, say 5 minutes to submit.
Yeah.
After you've hit submit and you've answered all these questions, you almost feel like my job is done.
Yes.
I can go on, move on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
These guys have all the information that I need, and then I can use these as a comparison quote to work with
person.
To work with another person. And exactly. Yeah. And once you have that comparison quote, it's almost hard to kind of beat. Because I don't know about you, but I've worked with businesses before that have come to me and said, hey, I've got a massive checklist of things that I want that this other company's willing to give me. And I've gone in there and I've bet just about everything in that quote, and I still got knocked back.
Yeah.
Why? Because that was the stepping stone. That was like what helped build that relationship, and I got in there too late. So things to remember: the more you can help the prospect up front, and the way Nicholas and I are sort of suggesting that you do that is through forms. The better and the quicker the relationship starts.
Exactly. I'll just want to point something out as well. We noticed through a few of the forms that we go through, they seem to show the steps or the start to finish process in a sort of easy to read picture or step process. That sort of helps a prospect see, well, it's going to take me 1 to 3 steps. It's going to take me 3 to 5 minutes, as Sebastian just said before. So it seems like these quotes are quite easy to do, or you can put that problem out there and you can see the step process that it's going to take you. So giving that client or prospect the image of what they want to believe their coming to you for, and being able to see it on the screen helps a lot when doing these sorts of things. And just another thing, if we go back to the original quote form, you can see it's just plain and you know, it doesn't really look appealing at all, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel like you're going from point A to point B. It just kind of says, okay, and I guess in my case, I had no choice, because just about every repair guy online that had a website did about the same thing.
Yeah.
Because they all kind of mirror each other.
Yeah.
Until somebody comes in there, like an agency, and really takes over and, you know, ramps it up, makes it really appealing. Then everyone sort of follows suit. So, I guess for me, I had to open up a little Word. This is what I did on my mobile. I opened up a little notepad, and I typed in the conversation, like, you know, it's a BMW X, you know, the damage is this size, da 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 da. And then I was copying and pasting into everyone's different form. I did it about 3 or 4 times, and I said to myself, wouldn't it have been a lot easier for these guys to actually have a drop down that says, you know, what make, what model, what year, you know, how many dents are there, and then kind of like take them down this path where it says, thank you for submitting your inquiry. One of our experts will be here, will be available to contact you in the next 5 or 6 hours. In the meantime, I'd like to show you the work that we've done, and take them to a page where they can see 4 or 5 examples of the before and after. Because what that is doing, it's kind of, you're taking them down that path. You're doing the work for them. You as the business owner is doing the work for them. If someone submitted an inquiry, what is the next general thing that they're likely to want to know? Are you capable of doing the work?
Exactly.
So then ideally you follow up the next day with a phone call. I've got your make, I've got your model, I've got the amount of dents. I have a general idea of how much it's going to cost. But before I give you that, can I ask you this, or can I ask you that? Then you get a chance to ask them more qualifying questions if you have to.
Yep.
In some cases, a lot of people can actually drop 3 or 4 questions and then give them a general type of answer. Like the price might be from $90 to $120 a dent, depending on the size. We can talk more about that when I evaluate it on site. Or, in this case, which is frustrating for me, I wanted to upload a picture. I can't upload a picture.
No, it doesn't have anything there you can do that with?
No.
No.
So these are all things that we need to start thinking as business owners. We need to start thinking, if we had someone here at our workshop, what are the 4 or 5 questions that we would ask? Write them down on a piece of paper. What would you need? Would you need a file? Would you need a CAD file? Would you need a drawing? Would you need a specification? Do you need a government approval? Whatever it is, then allow them to upload it. So just imagine for a moment that you had them in front of you. What would you ask? Replicate the same thing on your website, and then do as Nick said. You know, no one wants to walk up to a website where they've got you know, maybe 500, 600, 700 questions, and you'll think, oh goodness, I could never do that. But when you see this process and you say, okay, this is likely to take me, well, I would say iSelect probably could have done a little bit better.
They could have said how long it was approximately about to take.
Yeah, like for instance, in was it Allianz?
I think it was Allianz. Yeah, that's it there.
Allianz. Here we go. So Allianz went a step further than iSelect. They've basically said this was going to take you 2 minutes to do. So in the example that you're waiting for your wife to get out of the shower to get ready before you go out, and you've got 2 minutes to spare, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. You're at a shopping centre and your wife's gone into the shops and you've got 2 minutes. You're going to do it. So we got to get out of that mindset that people do things, you know, wholeheartedly. They sit down, they've got a computer in front, they've got a coffee, they've got a, you know, they've got the quote in front of them. They're going to spend 4 or 5 hours going through. It doesn't happen.
No.
They're doing 20, 30 things on their mobile phone, on their computer, and if you can just make their life simple by saying, here's the 4 or 5 questions that we would typically ask a customer, this is what we need to collect from you, and this is when we would need to get back to you with information, or here's a general overview price. You've done the work for them.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
You've done the work for them, and that is essentially what a conversion is. It's, you know, like Nick and I work with accounts all the time that the traffic's perfect, the message on the website's perfect, the message on the ad is perfect, but it doesn't convert. We just can't understand why. So then we jump on board and we say, okay, what is the call to action? Is the call to action a telephone call or a submit a quote request? And we might test 2 or 3 different elements. Once we evaluate, like in one of our cases, one of our clients, they just don't get phone calls for some reason.
Yeah.
They just don't. They get a lot of web inquiries. So in that case, we want to know, like in Green Star case where they're looking for automation clients, what's the size of your house? Are you in development phase or established?
Yep.
Because that's a big
deal.
Big deal, because if it's established, it's going to cost more.
That's
if you're
exactly
in development rate stage, you can actually go in and quite a lot less because they're still doing the frames.
That's right.
So all these things that you need to do, and you can do them on the form. So it's just a matter of getting, number one, in front of your salesperson.
Yep.
And finding out what questions you get asked on a given basis, and then getting in there and getting your developer to make the changes on your website.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't feel as though their website's, you know, first point of contact. They feel as though a conversation between themselves and the customer is, but I think they need to start realizing that, you know, this comes first when people are searching for your business. So you need to put, like Seb said, the 4 or 5 questions that you would typically ask, like your own discovery exercise, onto your webpage. So that's your first point of contact, and yeah, you can make the process a lot easier for a prospect.
Yeah, totally. I think you're spot on. Nowadays, the website is your first point of contact, and it also is the opportunity to get them there, because, you know, a lot of the times they're not going to convert on the first time that they visit your website. But if we can give them something, if we can say, you know, submit your inquiry and we'll drop you a sentence or 2 to let you know how much it's going to cost, that may actually be the reason why they choose to submit the inquiry and go with you. So unless you wanted to add anything more?
No, I don't think so, no.
No? Okay, so why don't we leave this open to you to maybe go through your quoting process or your call to action process, and maybe evaluate it and have a look at and see whether there's something Nick and I might be able to offer you as a support. Let's set up one or two. Let's set up a time to talk where we can do a consultation, have a look at your call to action, maybe offer you some advice. We'll do this maybe for the next 3 businesses that call us.
Yeah.
We
can do like a little audit of the website.
Yeah, we can do
see if it's a converting website.
Exactly, we can do a live audit. We can do a screen share and figure out what you're doing, what you're not doing. Maybe we can offer you some advice. If you want to implement it yourself, by all means, take the information, implement it yourself. Or if you need Nicholas and I to quote to make those changes, we're happy to do that as well.
Yeah.
So until next time, thank you for watching, and have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Good.
This thing charges pretty quick, doesn't it? 34%.
And plus, we were using the recording too.